Edward was a writer, seeking inspiration for his next great work. He had heard tales of the House of Lost Souls, an old mansion located in the heart of the countryside. It was said that the house was cursed, and those who entered never returned. The rumors intrigued Edward, and he decided to investigate the legends for himself. He arrived at the mansion on a dark and stormy night. The wind was howling, and the rain was coming down in sheets. Edward approached the mansion cautiously, looking up at the sprawling structure. It was a grand old house, with tall pillars and a wrought iron gate. As he stepped through the gate, he felt a chill run down his spine. The air was thick with an oppressive energy, and the house was eerily silent. Edward's footsteps echoed through the halls as he explored the mansion. He walked through the grand entrance and was greeted by a musty odor that filled his nostrils. The grand foyer was adorned with a grand chandelier that hung from the ceiling. The once grandeur walls and paintings had fallen into disrepair, and cobwebs clung to the corners of the room. As Edward walked further into the house, the silence became more deafening. It was as if the house had a life of its own. Edward's curiosity drove him on, and he continued to explore the mansion. But as he delved deeper, he began to feel a presence watching him. It was a feeling of being followed, of unseen eyes tracking his every move. And then, he heard a voice whisper his name. Edward. The voice was faint, almost imperceptible. But it was enough to make Edward's blood run cold. He froze in terror, unsure of what to do. But he knew he had to keep going, to uncover the secrets of the House of Lost Souls. As he ventured into the depths of the mansion, the presence grew stronger. Edward saw shadows moving in the corners of his eyes, heard whispers on the wind. And then, he saw them. The lost souls of the house, trapped in a perpetual state of torment. They were ghosts, spirits, and demons, all bound to the cursed mansion. They reached out to Edward, trying to drag him down into their abyss. But he refused to let them win. He continued deeper into the house until he came to a room at the very heart of the mansion. It was a room unlike any he had seen before. The walls were covered in strange sigils, and the air was thick with the scent of blood. Edward could feel a malevolent energy emanating from the room. His heart raced as he approached the center of the room. There, he saw a portal. It was a swirling vortex of darkness, pulsating with a sickly purple glow. Edward knew instinctively that this portal was the source of the house's curse. As he stood there, transfixed by the portal, he felt a presence behind him. He turned to face it and saw a figure standing in the shadows. It was a demon, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. The demon spoke, its voice echoing through the room. "Welcome, Edward," the demon said. "You have entered the realm of the damned. You will never leave this place." Edward felt a wave of terror wash over him. He realized that he had gone too far, that he had been lured into the house by the promise of inspiration, but he had uncovered something far more sinister. And as the portal began to open wider, he realized that he might never make it out alive. The demons poured through the portal, their twisted forms writhing and twisting in the pulsating light. Edward tried to run, but it was too late. They surrounded him, their claws and teeth tearing at his flesh. He screamed, but his cries were drowned out by the deafening roar of the demons. As he lay dying on the cold stone floor, Edward realized the terrible truth of the House of Lost Souls. The mansion was not cursed by some ancient magic, but by the demons that dwelled within it. They lured in unsuspecting victims, feeding off their fear and despair until there was nothing left. And as Edward's lifeless body lay on the floor, the demons retreated back into the portal, satisfied with their latest victim. The next morning, a search party found the mansion empty. There was no sign of Edward or any of the lost souls who were said to haunt the house. The mansion stood silent, a monument to the evil that lurked within. And yet, the legend of the House of Lost Souls persisted. It continued to lure in curious travelers, seeking answers to the mysteries that surrounded it. But for those who dared to enter its walls, there was only darkness, despair, and death.